Every year, thousands of men, women and children fall victim to human traffickers, both in their own countries and abroad. Here in the country, the problem has been encountered largely with Kenyans living and supposedly working abroad, especially in the Middle East. Back in 2013, the United Nations member states adopted a resolution that designated July 30th as a World Day Against Trafficking in Humans, a day for raising awareness on human trafficking and for protection of human rights. Today is July 30th, and Kenya joined the rest of the world in marking this day. We'll be bringing in Kenyan Tobias Chanji live from the county of Mombasa to bring us details on how this day is being marked here in the country. Later on, we shall be speaking to two people with more than average knowledge of this worldwide problem on the challenges and possible solutions. We are covering for you the news this hour in the way only we can, both in the country and across the borders, including Zimbabwe's first general election without Robert Mugabe. Zimbabweans went to the polls today. Is it going to be President Emmerson Mnangagwa who keeps the ZANU-PF flame burning, or will MDCT's Nelson Chamisa become the second president of Zimbabwe? KTN News Desk begins right now. I am Ben Kitian. Let's begin in Mombasa. Kenya has joined the rest of the world in marking the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons 2018. The commemoration runs on the theme Generation Safe and Healthy and sub-theme Elimination of Child Labor and Protection of Young Workers is meant to awaken the need to improve the safety and health of young workers and end child labor, especially in its worst forms. This comes even as the International Labour Organization estimates that 21 million people are victims of forced labor globally, most of them being victims of human trafficking. Here in Kenya, the celebrations are underway in Mombasa. And now we bring in our coast-based reporter, Tobias Chanji, who joins us live with updates. Chanji, good afternoon. Just bring us up to speed. What has been happening there? What is the main focus of the celebration or the day this year?
Very good afternoon, Ben. We are here right at Cobbles Hall in Mombasa, where we had a procession in the morning covering 4 kilometers from Vita's chief's office to here. I'm here joined by some of the stakeholders who have assembled here and who've been behind the war against human trafficking for the past 10 years in the coastal city of Mombasa. I'm here joined by Patrick Ocheng, who's the chairperson of the Trace Kenya, that has been rescuing some of these people that have been engaged in human trafficking. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Just give us a brief history. How bad is the situation here in Mombasa?
Yeah, I think for Kenyans, Kenyans need to know that human trafficking is a big problem. There are about 15,000 children in the coast who are trafficked because of commercial sex work. There are about 60,000 forced labor migrants who go to the Middle East nationally, the statistics. And there are about 9,000 street beggars in the coast region alone who are victims of trafficking. And about 30,000 children in this region who are either in servitude or who are going through one problem or the other in different parts of the country. So this problem is big, and this problem is brought about by the fact that a lot of young people don't have jobs. A lot of families are looking for livelihoods, and lots of them think that if they go to places like the Middle East, they can get some work to do. Partly what's happening in the Middle East in 2022, FIFA World Cup, and then the Expo 2020 are job opportunities that is triggering a lot of Kenyans to travel to the Far East. And these are some of the challenges that we face, and we've been fighting this scourge in different ways. And today was an international day just for us to remember and to focus on this and to educate each other about the ravages of human trafficking.
Who are trafficked more between women and men?
At the moment, the numbers might be equal, but the problem impacts on children much more than it does on men and women who are not children. And so a lot of youth, particularly those who are looking for jobs, there will be invariably more men than there are, but there are also a lot of girls who go particularly to domestic work that the Middle East takes a lot of.
Ben, we also joined here by a human rights lawyer who is going to tell us more about the vice here at the coast region. Just tell us your name and the organization that you work for and what are the laws behind this trafficking.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Anita Nyanjong and I work for Equality Now. Today we are marking the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. We are particularly focusing on the vulnerable women and girls. Equality Now works around ending the discrimination of women and girls all over the world, but particularly around sex trafficking. We call upon governments to ensure that laws are put in place that address the gender inequality and vulnerabilities that women and girls face. In coastal region particularly, we are concerned about sex tourism or the commercial exploitation of women and girls in the sex tourism industry. Many women and girls, particularly coming from inland regions of Kenya and also within the coastal area, are exploited commercially and online. It is not easily detected. So Equality Now has worked with local partners here, including government officials, in a bid to address this issue of sex tourism, which is actually directly linked to the question of sex trafficking. We know that there are laws that in Kenya, but I think what needs to be done is to ensure that we harmonize these laws. The Sexual Offences Act, the Children Act, the Counter Trafficking in Persons Act, all are pieces of legislation that are supposed to address the sexual exploitation particularly, but we feel that these laws need to be harmonized to be able to provide better structural measures that address sex trafficking.
Okay, thanks a lot. Well, as you've heard it, Ben, there's some of the issues that are being discussed here. Remember, we also have victims that have assembled here. We have children as young as 12 years, who most of them have also fallen victim, but because of our media laws, we won't record them live. But we've done features that we'll be bringing to our viewers in our subsequent bulletins. Back to you in studio.
All right, thank you, Tobias. Tobias Chanji, live for us from the county of Mombasa, covering for us the Day Against Trafficking in Persons 2018. Of course, this conversation being told a lot of times from that particular part of Kenya, from the coastal town. We shall be going back to Tobias for more on this. All right, let's take you through some of the things that have been said. Sexual exploitation of women and girls in travel and tourism, both directly and indirectly, fuels sex trafficking. It feeds into a global $99 billion industry where traffickers and pimps make huge profits at the expense of their target. That has been said by Tsitsi Matekaire, Program Manager and Sex Trafficking and Equality Now, just alluding to some of the avenues that this day alludes to try and take care of. Also, Anita Nyanjong, human rights lawyer, just spoken to Tobias Chanji there, also saying, analyzing this, saying buying sex from women and girls during holiday or business trips is normalized, yet the impact of the lives of the survivors and their communities is devastating. Again, they are leading, talking about the sex trafficking that is part of this conversation right there. That is Anita Nyanjong, a human rights lawyer. All right, we also have Faisal Mohammed, Africa Director, Equality Now, also speaking about this. Governments must enact and implement effective laws that penalize and target the demand that fuels sex trafficking alongside those who profit from this illegal trade. That is by Faisal Mohammed, Africa Director of Equality Now. Just some of the things that have been said, quotes, some of the pillars of this conversation on this very important day.